the Blazers just signed Damian Lillard, and this changes everything for the NBA. Although nobody expected Damian Lillard to go to the Blazers, I really like the idea of his reunion. I think that with them losing Anthony Simons and him stepping right in there, I think that he's going to mesh really well with this young core, and I think that it gives them that elite ball handler to like then facilitate for everybody else there. He averaged 7 assists the last 2 seasons with the Bucks, and I think that he's going to be really important for the development of these young guys. I think that they need somebody that will be able to really just lead them as like a leader, as like a good veteran presence, and they need somebody that can also facilitate for them and get them the ball in good spots. Dame is a veteran, he is a leader, and he's just a pro, honestly. I mean, he just knows how to play the game the right way. He's played the game for a very long time. And I think that it is really poetic for him to end his career on the team, that he started in. And maybe be a key building block to help them maybe get back to the playoffs for the first time in a very long time. So I think that he's going to be a massive addition to them. And I think not only like this season he's not going to play, but I think that as a locker room presence and as a veteran to like really help, I think he'll help Scoot. He could help Shaden Sharp. He could help some of their young guards to really, develop and to really, get to that next level. And I think who better to learn from than Damian Lillard? He's one of the better point guards the game's ever seen. One of the better shooters the game's ever seen. So I think even his veteran presence alone, just him being able to teach these younger guys and to really show them, and to give them a leader and to give them someone to like look up to and someone to aspire to be like. And even if he just gives them some tips, I think that will be very valuable. And they also got him on a really good, very cheap contract, which is a steal, honestly. I mean, I know nobody knows how good he's really going to be coming off of that ACL, or not ACL, I mean Achilles, coming off of the Achilles, and especially, he's getting into his mid-30s, so nobody really knows what to expect, but he still give you 24 and 7 the last 2 seasons with the Bucks, and I don't see that really dropping off much. I mean, maybe he gives you like 22, but like I said, I think it's more of just his presence and just like the poeticness of him coming back to his team that he started, and maybe kind of giving them like a foundation to start at, because they've been building the last couple of years. Like end of last season, they had a really good run, and you were really seeing some things connect and some flashes from some guys. So I feel like another year of development, and then now with like some veteran leadership, and the coaching's been getting better and better. I feel like they definitely do have a chance to make a little bit of noise. I understand the West is really stacked, but I don't think anyone's going to count them out and maybe making the play-in. If not this year, definitely next year with Dame actually on the court. But I think that you can't like underrate his skill and his leadership, because they didn't really have that veteran leader that's really going to, like bring this team to like the next level. Like sure, you got like Jeremy Grant and some of these other guys, but they're not actually that good. Like to have a star on your team who is like ingrained in the culture of the Trailblazers, I think will really help them. I just feel like this team needed a nice, good, solid veteran. And like I said, it's so poetic for him to come back to this team where it all started. I think that he could easily help make them at least to the play-in, either probably not this year, but maybe next year. And I feel like you can't like underrate him and Drew Holiday. I feel like this could really be a nice little change for them, and who knows, maybe he can play a couple more years after this contract. Like it is a 3-year deal, but maybe he plays 1 or 2 more years after, and maybe if they are able to build up like a little bit more of like a championship roster, if they have a good offseason the next 2 years, and you have Drew Holiday, you have him, you know what I mean? I mean, you're getting that championship, that like playoff culture there with guys that have real experience. And I feel like if the young guys can keep developing, I don't see why in 2-3 years, when all the other teams are aging a bit more, like the Thunder, who knows what Jokic is going to be. I mean, LeBron and the Lakers aren't going to be a big team. The Clippers will be out of it. I mean, the Timberwolves, who knows what they'll be, with some of the aging guys on their team. So I feel like the West really might be open in 2-3 years, when this team could have that championship aspirations with all development, and if they have a good couple off seasons. So I really like what the Blazers are doing. I think getting some veteran presence, some veteran leadership in there with Dame, with Drew Holiday, those kind of guys, I feel like is really good to help develop the young guys and to help give them something to like aspire to be, and give them that championship and like that playoff culture. I feel like so when they do actually make the playoffs, they're not going to be, shell shocked and have like no idea what this is like, but they'll have those veterans, those, strong pillars there of guys that are going to, calm them down, that are going to be able to, give them that idea of what it is to be in the playoffs, what it is to, be a championship level team. And I really like the young core that they have with Denny Avdia, Shaden Sharp, Scoot Henderson. Like, they got a couple, Tumani Kamara, like, Klingon. Now they got Hanson Yang. So I feel like that two-man game, like with the double bigs that they could run, or if they just want to, just run, have one of them come off the bench. Either way, I think they're getting a lot of versatility on that team with the wings, and I think that the guards are coming along too. I really just am excited to see what they can do, and who they can be over the next couple years. I feel like I don't see any reason why they can't be a championship, contender in like 3 years or 2 years, when everyone's developed another year, all their players are starting to get into their prime. And I feel like maybe they could make a trade or two, try to even get to the play in this year, maybe, who knows. But I just feel like they do have some guys, Jeremy Grant, they got some guys that they could easily dump off and, that aren't really important, and even open some more playing time for either rookies or, young guys that could just play bigger roles on the team. So I definitely think that their team is coming along really well, and I feel like they have a good idea. I really like what the front office is doing, bringing in some savvy veterans who are going to give them a championship identity, and give them get them up to speed on what the playoff atmosphere is, and on exactly who they could be and who they should want to be, because it's not only just an identity, or just telling them, or just helping them develop a little bit by mentoring them. I feel like it's also giving them an idea of who they can be, and they share their stories and the legacy that they have. And I feel like this could really be the culture change that they need, because it kind of went from, Dame kind of carrying, and they didn't really have anybody else on that team that could really help him out. So every year, they kind of fizzle out eventually, and Dame couldn't get that championship. He would put up great performance after great performance, but he just couldn't do it all on his own. But I think that now that they're getting this young core, they're building up a deep roster, and I feel like now you have old Dame, he knows things that he didn't know before, he's smarter than he was before, higher IQ. You have Jrue Holiday, who's won everywhere that he goes. So I really am starting to like and understand the Anthony Simons trade, because I was like, oh, you probably could have got more, but to be honest, they don't care about the salary cap, and they also are they didn't need Anthony Simons. They already have a couple guards, and I'd rather them have a guard like Jrue Holiday, who is better now than he will be in the future. So I feel like that is a really good move, and I definitely understand why they did that move now, because the Damian Lillard signing definitely make a lot more sense, that they're getting these guys, these savvy veterans who who understand what it is like to play at the highest stage, who've won at many levels, and who are just really legends, and guys that are just going to teach this young core, discipline, and just really be able to mentor them. So yeah, that is pretty much all I got for you guys. Just remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support really helps me to do everything that I do on this channel. And yeah, I hope you all have a good one. See y'all in the next video.